You didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE.
Give me a hell yeah!
Now, let's meet the host. Kyle Gagliardi.
The face that runs the place.
Jim Tucker. And Erica Marini.
I'm the boss. I'm the blueprint. I'm the standard.
Well, I think we've had enough talk. It's time for the main event.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi, and my co-host is the beautiful and wonderful Erica Marini.
Oh.
Hello, Erica.
I must have really buttered you up before the show to earn an intro like that, huh?
You know, we're going to have to go against kayfabe here, and we had a heart-to-heart before going live here for episode 92, so I felt in the giving mood, and I want to give you a compliment to start it off.
So kind. I won't return the favor, but
I know you won't. I know you won't. How are you doing, by the way?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am ecstatic, as we talked about before the episode. I got a pay bump, I guess you could say, in my incentive, so I'm very happy with the money that I will be getting in about a week or two. But other than that, wrestling's been good this week. We have a comment rolling in, and it's Dirk Vogus. Mr. Vogus, how you doing? Nice to see you. We're starting a little earlier this week, Erica, basically because of me. I have to watch the NFL draft later.
That's fair. It's a fun time of year. It's a fun night. I used to look forward to this a few years ago. I don't know why I fell off, but I get it.
Ever since Big Ben left, and now you're just like, whatever.
You know, it's going to be
You are a Steelers fan, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm a Packers fan, obviously, so we have 2 picks in the first round. So I'm very invested this year to see what happens. So that's why we went live at 5 p.m. Regardless of what time we would have gone live, though, Tuck would not be joining us, unfortunately. But the good news, Erica, is this is the last week Tuck will be missing. The whole crew will be back next week.
It's crazy. I feel like that went by really fast. And I don't know if that's like an insult to either one of you, but I feel like it did.
No,
I guess it'd be an insult to him, but I definitely don't mean it.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, you know what? I was going to be like, oh, we're going to be without Tuck for a while. But we got through it, and we'll be back on the full booth here in 1 week. And
we suffered in each other's company, and now we get Tuck back.
We had fun. And yeah, Mr. Vogus, the Bears don't have a pick tonight, so their draft really doesn't start till tomorrow. Because around here, Erica, there's obviously mainly Bears fans because we live in Northwest Indiana, which is close to Chicago. And then it's like the Colts fans, and then the Packers are kind of like third. So the Colts or the Bears don't have a first-round pick, so none of those fan bases are going to care tonight.
Gotcha.
Because tonight's only the first round, so only I'm going to care about that. But we had a lot of good wrestling, like I said, this week, Erica. I thought Monday Night Raw and AEW was really strong, so we're probably going to focus in on that. Put it out there, though. Let the listeners know you have not seen all these shows, correct?
It was a weird week for me, and I don't know why. I forget, did I fall asleep during SmackDown? I mean, Raw. I think I fell asleep during Raw. I was FaceTiming my mom for like a big chunk of Dynamite, and then I played catch up on my phone, which then just puts me out for like the other 30%. So I probably caught maybe a sliver of Dynamite, but I liked what I saw.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that happened on both shows. So we're definitely going to talk about both of those shows. But before we get into that, don't forget to check out the new merch on the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. The promo code is now active. We're going to do it for every pay-per-view weekend, but I decided to do it a little early, but I'm going to reveal that next Monday on our social media. But if you want the code, just DM me, DM Erica. And if you ask politely, I think we can give out some free money. What do you think?
I'm into that. I'll allow it.
But they have to, put in the effort because I want to know. Just say, please, can I get the code? It's 20% off on the merchandise. So that's all you got to do is ask one of us. There's the web domain right there on our screen if you're watching live right now. I'm expecting not as many people to be watching us live, Erica, because 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, it's kind of a weird start, ain't it?
It is, but Mr. Bogus is here.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
we
enough.
got someone. That's
no
all
pressure
that
to stay.
no pressure whatsoever. Also, you can give episode 91 a listen literally at any time. That's the last episode that we did because we discussed our top 5 wrestlers right now in professional wrestling. So that's one of those episodes that if you didn't watch it, you're not going to really miss out on anything. You can check back at it any point. So Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, all that good stuff.
And check out my number 1 pick for male wrestler and why all of the Indiana boys hate me.
Erica, you got a lot of heat.
I did. I really did. Even Quinn.
That's when you know, because he's a
when
big W mark.
Yeah. Yep. That's all right.
Hey,
You got to keep it spicy.
Exactly. And that's what gets people to tune in, those hot takes. And there
Sure
are
enough.
takes. They're ours, not theirs.
Yeah.
Ours.
And I don't think that should have surprised anybody with the shrine that's behind me. So,
I mean, I was going to say, just
Come
turn
on.
around, Erica.
right here.
There's the Eddie Kingston shrine right there. Still waiting for him to get an interview on this podcast. I'm surprised you haven't pulled that one off yet.
I know. I'm too embarrassed to reach out to him.
Would you be able to be composed enough in an interview with Eddie if we
Oh,
did
I
one?
feel like, yeah. Now that the fact that he, like, when I met him and I, like, didn't have the courage to say anything, and then, like, when I tagged him in the photo and he said, I knew I recognized you, I'm like, okay, we're boys. Like,
yeah. You got the in because he
Yeah.
follows you, right?
yeah.
Kind of a big deal. I mean, you're followed by Eddie Kingston, and I'm just getting likes from everybody on.
They're just
social
throwing
media.
them out there for you.
Let's just go through this list. So this is all the people that have liked my tweets over the past week. Cody Rhodes for getting this T-shirt that I'm wearing right now. Which shout out to Cody, appreciate you. Thunder Rosa, who already follows me, she gave me a like. Swerve Strickland gave me a retweet and a like. That was pretty big because I liked his theme song that he personally rapped. That is a very good theme song. If you haven't heard it, go check it out. And then just today, Chelsea Green. I'm over.
You are. You're on a roll.
I guess you could say that. I'm not the most over on the show, though, because apparently with the TikTok views, you and Tucker, I think, have the most TikTok views on our channel.
What are we saying? Oh,
It's
on
when I
the
was
show
in
that
Vegas.
just Tuck did?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which we're at 77 followers on TikTok. I think if we can get to 100, there could be some giveaway for some merchandise. So we're about 77 followers on TikTok, 72 on Instagram. We're growing.
We
slowly
are.
but surely.
Baby steps.
We should say if you follow Pot on the Mark, that Erica Marini will follow you back.
And I'm a big liker.
Yeah, that's true. We have gone over that. And if you get a like from her, it might be a pity like, or she just kind of likes it. That's what she does.
And you'll never know.
You're damn right. You'll never know. I never know. And I've known you for how long? 4 or 5 years?
Uh-huh.
Damn, it's been that long.
Yeah.
That's wild. And for the people that don't know, I've only seen you in person once. One time.
True.
Let's make it 2, though. We're going to have to make it 2 this
2.
year. A lot of good wrestling coming up, especially one of our headlines. I say we just jump right into this one since it's a good segue. That this announcement happened last week, but we have obviously had episode 91 and we were talking about other things. So it's kind of old news, but we now know that AEW and New Japan are doing a super show, Forbidden Door, on June 26th at the United Center in Chicago. Erica, how excited are you for this show?
I'm very excited, and it's only going to get more exciting. I'm definitely going, and I'm like really looking forward to like the getting more excited part, if that makes sense. Like I'm like excited to like, and like I said, Tony, if you're on the fence about it, Tony's going to sell it to you completely, like by the time of the show. Tickets go on sale next week. My buddy is nervous that we're not going to get tickets, or like made a comment that like, cause I guess like, well, he said Punk sold it out for his return.
I was there.
And so, I mean, I'm kind of like concerned about that, but we'll make it happen.
Worst case, you could probably buy off somebody reselling it. Cause I believe that's what we did. We didn't get the tickets for the Punk Rampage show right away. We kind of just waited to see. And we ended up getting like first row in the balcony, which in the United Center, it's pretty high up. So if you are getting tickets, the balcony is kind of up there. So I suggest you guys cough up a little extra money to go down below. That's just my pro tip.
Noted. Thank you.
I've been to the United Center a few times because the Bulls play there, the Blackhawks, and then obviously that Rampage. But yeah, that's a big venue too, Erica. About 20,000, I believe, that they're going to have there. I don't know much about New Japan, but I mean, there's no denying the fact that the in-ring wrestling for this show, it's going to be top notch.
And I'm hoping that they have some like Stardom matches too, and get some like women's matches in there, because I'm more into Stardom than I am New Japan, which still isn't like whatever. But those women are like killer, and they're like super legit, and I just think there could be some like awesome matches.
So I don't know much or anything about Stardom, but once the headline of Becky Lynch kind of calling out the AEW women's division, saying they were far superior, which is, it's true. A lot of people were commenting back, Stardom gives WWE a run for money, and that you're someone that watches Stardom. Would you agree that their women's division is as strong or close to WWE?
I would. And this is, again, saying I'm not like a super huge into Stardom. And like I said, they have a YouTube channel and I watch it on TV, but it's all in Japanese. So sometimes I think I'm picking up on a show that I already like. It gets a little confusing.
Lost in translation, yeah.
But like, man, there are some like huge stars in Stardom. And I mean, it's also different. It's completely different. But like, I mean, I think the number of stars in New Japan versus WWE, maybe more, but at the same time, it's close. And I saw the Becky thing late. I didn't see it when it first came out, so I was kind of surprised that she said that, but she's also not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you can say things like that if it's true, in my opinion. Like if they were, very close in talent. Maybe
she would say, and I also feel like Becky would say that regardless, just because she's just a shit stirrer. But I think, she kind of had a leg to stand on this time.
It totally makes much sense to me now that Becky and Seth are married in real life, because they seem to be cut from the same cloth.
Yeah,
they're just pot stirrers, and they're entertaining as hell. But going back to this Forbidden Door show, like I said, I don't know much about New Japan, but I've seen a lot of people like putting out their dream matches that could potentially happen. Was that a dog?
My mom's dog is next to me, and she just did a giant snort as she's sleeping.
Okay, I was like, it's either a dog or Erica just belched right on the microphone.
Oh, I thought you would have thought that before. I farted, so thank you.
I mean, that's one of the you tweeted about that the other day, that when you go to shows that people have BO and fart a lot. Do you want to expand on that tweet, because you got a lot of interaction on it?
I did. Apparently, I'm not alone in that thought. Like, everybody talks about wrestling fans needing deodorant. Like, I get the BO thing, but like in a crowd, it's the farts, it's the burps, it's the gross breath, and I just like sit there. I'm like, ugh, awful. But then I'm drinking my Bud Light, I ripped 2 minutes burps as soon as I hit send, and I was like, I am part of the problem. So
that's why I responded to you directly. I was like, I'm pretty sure you've done either one of those things in person with me, and we've only attended one show next to each other. Now it's GCW, which we both were getting pretty rowdy for that show. That was a good ass time.
You know what? Me burping in the show was probably the best smell in that arena, because that place was stank.
I mean, probably 80 degrees at the coolest.
Thick, yeah. It was
musty.
It was heavy in there.
That was a gross atmosphere. I felt gross, but man, it was a good time. So hopefully, all out. That's another thing that comes with this Super Show now, is a lot of people are questioning if they are running this show in Chicago in June, will they decide to come back for Labor Day weekend? I selfishly hope so, but I think that's an obvious concern, right? Like, you would think that maybe AEW is going to take All Out somewhere now that they're doing this.
And then would it remain like being on the road? Like, I remember Bobby saying, us being selfish too, to like be able to do both. He said, it'd be sick if like AEW came to Boston or something, and it would, but then like, does it stay in Boston? Does it go back to Chicago? Does it travel the way that like WWE events do?
I think AEW knows where their most passionate fans are, and I feel like they just need to camp out on big shows there. Like Vegas, Double or Nothing crowd's always going to be good. Chicago's always going to be a good crowd. And where was Grand Slam at? Because that obviously was a good crowd, or at least the New York area, right?
Yeah, I think it was Queens.
Which that area obviously is another big, and Jacksonville. That's like their other home away from home. So
yeah,
I think if they just stay in that they'll be in a good spot, because they're still trying to grow. I know their ratings are still kind of just sitting at the 900,000. So I don't know. I think they're good where they're at. Let's go. Mr. OTM in the house. Yeah, I am here.
Battle of the Mr. OTMs.
These young kids nowadays, Erica, they don't know how to be creative with their names. They just steal my gimmick, and that's what Ryan Matthews is doing. He is the OTM pay-per-view champion. And he is also now, Erica, you might have missed this, a part of the Overtime Sports Network. We decided to bring in his podcast, The Pigskin Project. It's a football show. And now they are part of OTSN. So you can check out their podcast. Make sure you're following @_OTSN. They will be doing a draft show tonight. So I will show a little bit of love for him, even though he is stealing my name and my T-shirt. It's still on the shop. Still there. I showed people at work that T-shirt today, too. I was like, can you guys support my podcast? I don't care if you don't listen. Just buy a T-shirt. I mean, one's got my face on it. Or not really, but like my back.
How could they not?
I'm surprised you haven't gotten yours. Hi, Mom.
Yeah. Hi, Donna.
You just said hi to her before the show because she was on speakerphone as I was doing a little pre-podcast talk with my mother. But yeah, any other things from the Super Show, what you're kind of expecting to see, or it's kind of just one of those we'll wait and see how as the time goes on?
I guess we'll wait and see. And I also feel like it was kind of sprung on us quick. So I wonder, are like a lot of or any of the New Japan guys over here already? And they'll be kind of trickling in on Dynamite.
Well,
and
Ishii wrestled Cole.
Yeah. And he was at Impact too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious how they're kind of set us all up for this. But yeah.
Like you said, Tony knows what he's doing. He'll book it correctly, and it'll be a fantastic show. I will not be able to go and meet you, unfortunately. That is the weekend I will be going to a wine tour for my work, and I'm taking my mom for her birthday. So
love it. Worth it.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to have my own fun in its own way. But yeah, the other headlines here before we get into Raw and SmackDown. The Inspiration, formerly known as the Iconics, are officially stepping away from in-ring competition. They have parted ways with Impact, and it seems like they're done with professional wrestling. That's the vibe I'm getting. I don't know about you.
Mikey.
Donna, Texas is right next to me. Your mom is famous. Just sent you a text. I don't even get it. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see what the text is mid-episode. Oh, it's a water tower, and it says the city of Donna.
Oh, Donna,
Okay.
Texas.
Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense.
Love it.
Okay. Thank you, Mikey. But yeah, Erica, what are your thoughts?
What'd you say before that?
The Inspiration.
Yeah.
Taking a step away from professional wrestling, which could be for good, it seems like.
I wonder what that's about. It's weird because I was just thinking recently how difficult it must be to be married to somebody in two different or in a different wrestling company, and how like they make that happen. And I was thinking, because wasn't AEW in Albany this past weekend?
I'm not sure.
Or the same weekend that they're in Poughkeepsie. So I remember thinking just something crazy. And I was like, oh, like, I don't know where Albany is in comparison to Poughkeepsie, but like maybe like Sean Spears comes down and he gets to like see his wife. And I was like, that's got to be difficult. I'm not saying that has anything to do with it, but if it just got to a point where they kind of want to like settle down and just be like normal people for a while, I couldn't blame them. So, I mean, hopefully they're both healthy and okay and everything's good. And it was just a personal decision, but.
And maybe it's just at a point where they've accomplished everything they kind of sought out to accomplish in wrestling. They were women's tag team champions in the WWE. They were champions in Impact. And that maybe was just like their swan song. And they're like, you know what? We're still young. You know, we can accomplish many other things in other fields, because not for everybody, pro wrestling isn't life. Like there's a life after wrestling, just like there's a life after sports for people that are in the major leagues. You know, they have to find other things to do. So if they
their family is like a 20-hour flight away. You know what I mean? So I'm sure having the freedom to be able to go home, spend time in Australia with their family and friends, like I don't blame them.
Yeah, I wish nothing but the best for those two, because they've been nothing but entertaining since coming on our TV screens in about mid-20-teens. So,
and I'll pull a Kyle right now and be like, yeah, I saw their last match. What?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
But hey, like they say in wrestling, never say never. I'm sure they'll eventually be back. And if they do come back, I kind of want them back in WWE.
I feel like that'd be like the biggest pop. Like,
yeah. Just the iconic music, even if it's just for a Rumble, you know, have them in a guest spot.
And nobody knows they're coming. And all of a sudden the silence breaks with iconic. Yes. Imagine I got chills right now.
About. Yeah. Well, you brought up the not getting spoiled thing. I was like talking to you personally, text messaging you back and forth. And I was like, I appreciate the work that the Sean Ross apps do. Like there's other people that like break news like that, but I don't need to know a bunch of people who are showing up on Monday Night Raw. Like I knew because of Sean Ross Sapp that Asuka and Ali were probably going to be on Raw. We don't really need to know that. We don't.
Does he post it, or does he post it behind a paywall, and then the people that pay and I appreciate that sometimes I'm like, I'm never going to pay for that. But then at the same time, it's like,
it'll get out.
Yeah.
It's just because somebody's paying for it, and that one somebody is going to spread the word, and then now everybody knows. And
half of never make an OnlyFans.
Oh, there goes half of our listeners right there. They were just waiting on pins and needles for that announcement. But no, I wish that was not a thing. But that's just the world we live in now with social media. But the last thing, Erica, before we get to Monday Night Raw, is that Vince McMahon apparently wants more WWE heel and face turns going forward. And obviously, he is very keen on changing some names. So it seems like, in a way, and I don't know if this is a Nick Khan influence, because we know the name Nick Khan now has been like heavily involved with WWE and he's part owner or whatever it is. But it seems like there's kind of a new shift in direction with WWE. Are you sensing that too, or is this just Vince being crazy?
Are you talking about with like the name?
Yeah.
Oh no. Soon.
Oh, what's she thinking? Oh,
you hear it? She's looking up at me. She's wagging. I don't know if she wants.
She wants more heels and face turns. That's what she wants.
Do you agree with Nick Khan? Yes, she does. She also can't jump on my bed by herself, so I might have to help. Is this? I mean, here's what I think. Does this have anything to do with like the name changes? Does WWE not want them to have their own names, or is it like their decision? Like Casey Catanzaro, is it her saying like, well, fuck you, you're not gonna have the rights to my name? But
yeah, I don't know.
Also, not that I saw any of NXT because I didn't watch it, but seeing the clip of her trying to sell her name change, she didn't get called up, right? They just changed her name.
Correct.
Could that maybe be in preparation for her getting called up?
Yeah, and I think
they're trying to like nip it in the bud and say like, oh yeah, like if they did that for Walter, all right, that's real.
Yeah, I think they're trying to just get ahead of the curve, because eventually they're going to be calling up all these people because that's the new NXT now. But I like the idea of more heel and face turns happening because it does seem, and I didn't really notice it until I saw this report, that over the last, couple of years, there really hasn't been any monumental turns. Like the last one that I can think of is Ciampa turning on Gargano, and that was in NXT.
That was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah. And that was like the first WWE one where it was like, holy shit, that just happened. Like, when's the last time you were genuinely shocked by a heel turn?
I mean, unless you think of like, and these are like, these are like, it doesn't really count, but like MVP turning on Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. We apologize for the dog. It's okay.
We apologize. And she's deaf. I can't even yell at her. Let me just get her up on the bed.
If you want to get her up on the bed or, do what you got to do, that's fine. But, I just wanted to bring up those few headlines right there before we get into the shows because we're going to touch on Raw and AEW. And as you can see, as I changed my background right now, we have Asuka and Ali because they are officially back. But we're going to talk about what opened up Monday Night Raw, Erica, and that is with the entire roster ringside there to celebrate the 20 years of Randy Orton. Now, I can't believe it's been 20 years for Randy Orton in the WWE, and I obviously didn't start watching until 2011, but that's crazy that he's been there for so long. But I just thought it was a very cool moment to have like the genuine reaction of the people there ringside because you saw people like Veer and all these heels kind of dapping him up, showing their love and appreciation. He even got a video package, and it just seemed like the whole entire crowd was into that opening segment. And I feel like a guy like Randy Orton definitely deserved that moment.
And I think it's crazy that he could be, sorry, I'm like wrangling monkeys right now. I think it's crazy that 20 years and he really hasn't gotten stale. Like, especially now at your 20th year.
That's true, Bogus. Good point.
Heyman turning on Punk.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Love that one too. I think it's crazy that, that he's just like kept reinventing himself without reinventing himself, like as much as he has, and it's just like 20 years later, he's still fresh. He's on top of his game. He's freaking Raw Tag Team champ, and like he's huge. Yeah, it's crazy.
When's the last time that like the Raw Tag Team Championships felt meaningful? Like I feel like this is the first time in 5 years that I actually am invested emotionally into the tag team division.
I agree, and I can't remember. I don't have a good answer for you. When was the last time?
Exactly. I mean, it was good when New Day and Usos kind of started their tag team. American Alpha was kind of involved in that as well. That was cool. But you could tell that they're like investing a lot of storyline into this. And then Mikey Wilson coming in, I was out on that at first. I thought they were going to try another This Is Your Life segment. It was actually really good. Yeah. Randy got like a legit video package and everything, because you could tell that the WWE appreciates how loyal Randy has been over the years. And he's one of those guys too that just rarely gets hurt. And you need those guys in your company that are just going to be a mainstay.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, shit, they let him put out an RKO 420 shirt, so they must.
Did Mike buy one?
Like him a little bit, and his roommate, yeah.
That is official. Okay.
Yep.
So there is 2 people I know that bought it. I was just going to see if anybody I know bought it. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. So obviously one of the big things that happened on Monday Night Raw, you see her behind me right now, but Becky Lynch made her first appearance since losing at WrestleMania. And she, of course, Erica, was a little sad, a little depressed, saying that she hit rock bottom, but things can only go up from here. She says she's defeated Rhea, she's defeated Bianca, she's defeated all these names. And then we finally heard Asuka's music. It has been since last year's Money in the Bank that we have seen Asuka. Yeah, she almost a year, 8 months. Yeah, 8 months we've been without Asuka. She is back, and it looks like they're going to rekindle this feud with Becky Lynch.
So much sense. It really does. I can't believe it's been 8 months. And you know what I love too is that I guess it's just her social media presence, but like people have been asking for her since Money in the Bank then. Like this entire time. She really hasn't lost any
momentum.
Yes, momentum. Yeah. And I love it. I love that this is her first feud back. I think it makes complete sense. I love Asuka. And
oh no, did Erica freeze? I think Erica froze. If anybody's in the comments, I see Erica frozen right now.
Yeah, she got dead. I'm dead. Okay.
Oh, wait, you might be coming back slowly but surely.
I am.
You froze for a little bit there.
That's all right. We both went black on my screen.
Oh, did we? You know, the last time that you said that I froze, I looked back at the thing and you were the only one frozen. So
hey, you know what then? Maybe this time you're the only one frozen.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to let the comments tell us who was actually frozen there. I don't know if you actually just said any of this, but because I didn't hear it, obviously. But I think another thing that was telling about that return is her pop that she got. Like you talked about how she didn't lose momentum. This is a crowd, Knoxville, Tennessee, not known for being a great wrestling city, but a very positive and loud reaction for her. And it just shows you how many people actually care about her character.
Yeah, agree.
What's up? Have you heard former WWE announcer JoJo and Bray Wyatt? Oh, that's nice. Cool. I did not know that.
Me neither. I know they had 2 cute babies.
USA must have thrown the bag getting all these debuts in return. Yeah, that's another point, Erica. Raw's getting all the good returns, and SmackDown's got SmackDown thing.
Crazy, though, is that, like, for a while, Raw sucked, and, like, SmackDown was the show. Now it's Raw. And, like, I don't know if it's just the talent or the production. I don't know what it is. It'd be awesome to have 2 killer shows, but yeah, no, now Raw's where it's at.
Yeah, Raw is probably WWE's best weekly show that they're putting.
Or should we stay tuned for tomorrow night? Who knows?
Tomorrow night's a tape show, so I'm sure it's not going to be good.
Never mind.
We all know that tape shows aren't that great. The only thing good that came from a tape show was Santa Claus getting run over by Alberto Del Rio about 10 years ago. Yeah. Which made my brother very worried on Christmas. I think I've told that story before, though, because we watched it Christmas Eve. Santa got ran over.
Brian.
Oh, it was very funny. And I also think AJ Styles lost to Jinder on a taped show as well. Oh. For the WWE title. Or was it Randy Orton?
Vogus. I know you're watching, but
was it Randy Orton that he beat? I don't remember. Vogus would definitely remember on who Jinder beat. Now. Shanky had a great showing on our tape SmackDown. Yeah, he did have a very good run there.
I know I have some questionable taste, but I am only to be outdone by Ryan Vogus. Do we agree?
He's got his type, I guess you could say. Yours is kind of all over the place. But yes, his is weird sometimes too. You're not the only weird one.
I'm not standing Shanky. So
I stand Shanky, the big Shankmeister. Shank Daddy.
No.
Put that on a t-shirt, Shank Daddy. That actually could come off very bad. Don't sell that t-shirt, Shank Daddy.
Shank Daddy.
Yeah, that could be bad. Other things from Monday Night Raw, though, I don't have much to say about the actual match itself, Erica, and I don't know if you caught this specifically, but the match between Finn Balor and Priest, I just wanted to say that I am very, very intrigued with the direction of this feud. Ever since Finn lost that U.S. title, I was like, okay, where are we going to go with this? But I'm thinking that Judgment Day, which is what they're calling Edge and Damian Priest, might be getting into some kind of feud with Finn and AJ Styles, kind of like a mini reuniting of the Bullet Club. What do you think about that?
I'd be into that. And we wanted that while I'll be nice. We wanted that while Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson were still around. So yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad they're not around
Focus.
Anymore. They really don't provide much.
You
said Eddie Kingston
was
the
Impact.
best wrestler on earth. I'd argue Shanky might be as shocking of a pick.
Oh, my computer froze. I can't read anything.
No, your computer's good. Don't worry. We're all good. We're all good on your end.
It's black. I can't see anything.
From what you saw so far from this new Edge persona and the potential of maybe bringing in other people, is that something that interests you, or do you think Priest is enough?
No, I like the dark shit, and I would like them to slowly become more of a collective, and the way that House of Black potentially could be luring in Julia Hart just faster. But that sort of same way that, like, you know, and I mean, I was even thinking, because I didn't watch this, so like when you said about Finn, like Demon King Finn, you know what I mean? Like he's got that side of him that I could see something happening, him joining them, or I mean, we've all seen like the graphic with Liv and Rhea and Ciampa and Finn. So I would like it to become sort of a stable and have Edge at the helm of it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of possibilities that can come out of that, and I think Judgment Day is a good name for the faction. Because it's that weighing thing. What is that called? I don't know. Like it's a balance. It's like a balance of sorts. That, remember when Edge had that pay-per-view poster with him with that?
Put his like skull ring on it. Yeah.
It's a callback, and I think that's cool. It's kind of that long-term storytelling.
Except, isn't there a pay-per-view Judgment Day? There used to be.
That's what that picture is from. That's what I'm saying. It was from the pay-per-view Judgment Day.
But that's their group name now, is Judgment Day?
Yes, that's what I believe what they are referring to themselves as. But Damian Priest just kind of has that aura to him that like fits that. Like when he was talking, he just seems like a dark, mysterious character.
He does.
I like
it. He does. And I think that dark fits him better than I used to like cringe when he was in NXT and they'd be like, oh, the limousine riding, champagne, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, when he won the North American title and he won the jacuzzi.
I'm like, oh God. Like,
he said, what's up, ladies? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Triple H. It was just awful. I hated it. But like this side of him I like. It's cool.
It's very fitting. And this is one of the big reasons why I like Monday Night Raw a lot this week. This is one of my favorite Raws over the past couple of years, is that even if there's not a title feud going on, like Roman Reigns wasn't involved at all in this show, but we have so many other storylines going on. You have RK Bro with the Usos. You have Judgment Day with AJ right now. And then you have new ones starting off, like the one that we saw with Ali returning. Like that's another potential feud with Ciampa. Bogus to Damian Priest.
You didn't need to post that. You didn't need to post that because I said limousine riding. No, Bogus. Yeah. Are you on a stationary bike right now? Like,
no, he probably is at the gym. He's always at the gym when we're doing these shows. But yeah, so speaking of Ali, he made his return during Miz TV to say he would like a shot at the U.S. title that Theory has. And that obviously turned into a match with the Miz, which I thought Ali looked great in. He looks like he hasn't really missed a beat inside the ring. Obviously, we've seen clips, Erica, of him on social media still grinding out there. But this is something I never thought we would see, because you saw the cryptic tweets, you saw the speculation, and now Ali is back in wrestling in the WWE.
And I feel like we have no choice but just to like hope for the best, that like he came back. He seems like a man of good morals and like a man that he's not in it maybe for the money. You know what I mean? Like that's not the most important thing to him. So I think that I'm hopeful and thinking that he'll come back and like he's got some sort of like creative leniency and he's going to be able to do things his way, the way he's wanted to. So I think this could be something really cool. So I'm optimistic about it.
There's a lot they can lean into with Ali. Like, he has a history with his culture, and he's a former policeman. Like, they've leaned into that before, but they could really commit to it.
Yes, and then like even before he left, like he had that thing with like T-Bar, get him out of whatever the frig he's been doing, and I don't know. And then like you said, like all the clips of him like are still like training and stuff. Like
and
guy
the free
is,
Ali
like,
hashtag.
a maniac. Like, yes, let him do whatever the hell he wants in the ring. Give him whatever matches he wants to have. Like, let that happen.
He's had so many just like moments where you're like, holy shit, this guy's really good. His matches with Murphy, Cedric Alexander, his RKO counter against Randy Orton, something that comes to my mind when he did the handstand in the middle of the ring to reverse the RKO. That was fantastic. Like, that dude has so much talent. Feast your eyes, indeed. I actually want to see if Vogus likes my idea. So
I have a Dominic Dijakovic right here, but I can't think of what he does before he says feast your eyes. Mike says bring back Big Boss Man and make him Ali's manager. Yeah, there you go. But no, this is the idea that I pitched. Let me try to think of this in a roundabout way. That I'm trying to think word for word what I was saying actually. But I was just thinking that now that Ali's back, maybe he can rekindle things with T-Bar, kind of just say, hey, it's time to ditch that old persona. You're not T-Bar. You're Dominic Dijakovic. Why don't you ride alongside of me and let's re-find yourself in the ring? And then they can kind of just go on this face tag team run, or maybe Dijakovic is just a body for Ali. But there's so much possibility and so much things you can do. And I said maybe they could feud with LA Knight and
Mace.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options. And obviously the Theory one, since he called him out for the U.S. title and he beat The Miz, is one of them. And then after the match, we see Tommaso Ciampa, now known as Ciampa. Sorry, I can't say Tommaso, which is fine because nobody refers to him as Tommaso. Like, we always say Ciampa anyway, so it really doesn't bother me. But Ciampa attacked Ali after the match, and then they just cut to commercial right after it. There was nobody really commenting on it. They really didn't expand on that from there. So they're just planting seeds here that a potential Ciampa-Ali feud could be great.
And you know what? I like it because I obviously love Ciampa a lot, and I hated the thought that he'd come to the main roster and just sort of flounder. So having him just sort of like dive right in and like get into this feud, I'm here for it, and could be something good.
And let's be honest, we know Ciampa's great, but we prefer heel Ciampa over face.
Oh yeah. Come out with that crush.
And I also prefer face Ali. I think Ali as a baby face is just more natural. Like, he's just a likable dude from the way he presents himself on social media. He's a family guy.
He's like a super sweet, yeah, exactly what I was going to say. Super sweet family guy. Yeah. But like, I also love like heel cocky, like, you know who the fuck I am. Like, Ali.
Retribution had potential. They just booked it so bad.
So bad.
You could have done a lot with that group. There was talent there. There was talent all around.
Also, I die at the way you say things like talent. Talent. There was talent.
Well, how else are you supposed to say talent?
Talent.
What's the difference?
Talent. You throw an extra E in there. Talent.
Maybe it's a Chicago accent. That's what I've been told I have.
I guess so.
I don't notice these things. You apparently only do.
I do, and I thought about it like yesterday at work too. I forgot what I said, and I was like, Kyle would say it like this. Talent.
Yeah, at least I don't say fuck off.
Well,
throw W's into my F's.
Try it. It's fun.
But I digress. One more comment before we pivot. So yeah, tomato. I agree.
Yeah.
We're picking hairs. Is that the saying? Picking hairs? I don't.
Splitting hairs.
Yeah. I don't have many up there. So I forgot.
Talent. Okay. Whatever.
Let's move on. That's all I really got from Monday Night Raw. So we're gonna pivot things over here to AEW Dynamite. Once again, Erica was FaceTiming with her mother, so she doesn't know anything that happened on the show.
I know something.
I know you had to have seen some of what started off Dynamite, correct?
I did, and I would love to remember what that was.
Yeah, it kicked off with a highly anticipated singles match.
This to open at
between FTR. All. Yeah, there you go, just adding W's to your words. But once again, I'm not going to call you out for it. This match, Erica, was the technical match that we expected to be very good. And I would say it probably lived up to your expectations as well.
The only thing I would have wished was that it was main event. For some reason, I think I was just like hopeful for that. I wanted to like end the show with like a delicious treat like that, but opening it dessert first, it was awesome.
Go.
No, go ahead. I kind of figured that Dax would win. And I don't know why, other than maybe it's because mentally he's the only one I've seen wrestle in a singles match as of late. So I couldn't really picture Cash Wilder advancing and, continuing on like that. But
I think you just combined his WWE name with his AEW name.
Oh no, what's
it's
his
Cash
name?
Wheeler. You said Cash Wilder and it was Dash Wilder. Remember that?
I did. You're right. You're lucky I called him Dax and not Scott Dawson.
Yeah, Scott Dawson.
Dax Dawson.
Oh, Mikey's just still leaning into it. He said tomato. Autocorrect on me the first time.
Thank you.
Thanks for clearing that up. But no, I thought this was a great way to start off AEW. Once again, AEW always starts off with a good match. CM Punk on commentary was a nice touch to it as well, because obviously he appreciates the work of Owen and Bret Hart. And like you said, Dax winning wasn't really that shocking, since he's kind of the one that's kind of put more in the forefront when it comes to marketing this team. But yeah, overall, very good from top to bottom. I wouldn't expect Harwood to make a run that Owen tournament, but I'm sure he's going to continue to pay homage to the Hart family, because they showed clips once again that they took a little bit of the match between Owen and Bret and they put it into this match. I mean, like, how can you not appreciate that?
They're just classic dudes. I love them. I meant to wear my fucking FTR, my Revival shirt tonight, but I forgot what I was going to wear. And I was like, oh, I must have meant to wear my Moose shirt. Nope. I meant my Revival shirt. But
that's because you were at Rebellion last Saturday, which I didn't ask. How the hell was that?
It was
great
fun.
seats. Great seats.
Great seats. We were second row. We got there. People were in our seats, booted them right out. It was a hell of a night. It was so fun. I fell in love. It was awesome.
Who'd you fall in love with?
Moose.
Oh.
And then I tried to buy his shirt, and he's like, we have no more shirts. I go, what about the one that's on display? And the kid climbed up there. He's like this. Yep, it's a size small. And I was like, boom, take my money. It was awesome.
Look at you. Hey, get that. Go out there and go get that shirt from me.
Climb up there. Fancy Ryan Clancy. That was his name. I forgot what we were saying about FTR.
No,
you know what I like?
No, I was talking about I wanted to hear more about Rebellion.
Oh, it was awesome. The crowd was like a different crowd than WWE and AEW and maybe any indie shows I've gone to. I don't really know what I mean by that, but it was cool. There was a lot of people. Chelsea Green was there. You're like her, Chelsea Green. Got to say a little bit of Jordan Grace. Jonathan Gresham wasn't on the card. I guess he got hurt last week, maybe, or 2 weeks ago. But there was maybe 2 matches that I really didn't give a crap about, but the rest were just awesome. So
I heard really that what's his name? A-Kid? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
I heard that match was fantastic. X Division title, right?
Was that night?
No.
What's his name? I know who you're talking about. And it was the match with Mike Bailey, that one, right?
I don't know. You were the one that was there, not me.
Yeah. It was like a 3-way.
I didn't watch Rebellion, obviously. I didn't watch it.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that's good. You and Tuck now have been to an Impact show. I have not.
I thought that's the one that he went to. Yeah. So when we were on the fence about it, I was like, I'm pretty sure Tuck went to that. So I'm like, fuck it, let's just do it.
Tuck's been to an Impact show, and I think he said he would definitely go to one again. But after this match, the opening match, the AEW announced that officially we are getting CM Punk versus Adam Hangman Page at Double or Nothing. This is something that we have been talking about on the show for the last couple of months on who is going to be the one to take on Adam Page at Double or Nothing. Well, we have our answer, and you really can't do much better than CM Punk taking on Page, right?
No. And I'll be honest with you, we haven't really been talking about it. Kyle called it, and I have to give props where props are due. You did call it. I texted you immediately, and I was like, did this happen last week and I forgot about it, or is this just happening? You're like, what, you idiot? No, it's just happening. I was like, you called it, and I'll vouch for you any day. So you did. So
you just got to pay attention to these things. It's not like I'm a genius. If you just notice that they're patterns, it was a slow build with CM Punk, and then he just started about a month ago to signal for the belt, and I just knew over time that this was coming. It was just his time. It makes sense. He's been with the company almost a year now. He hasn't had a world title shot. Danielson got shot putted right into the world title shot. So it's all right, CM Punk needs a legitimate chance. And I would say it's probably going to be split down the middle when it comes to people who they think is going to win that match.
I don't, because I think what you said, I think Punk makes a great transitional champion. And I really can't think of anybody better that it wouldn't necessarily tarnish than him.
And it's a hell of a headline.
Yeah.
CM Punk returns to wrestling and wins a world title after 7 years.
Yeah.
That's probably what Tony Khan's wanting as a headline. Like Vogus said, put the belt on him and turn him heel. Ooh.
He has teased that too.
Heel Punk is way better, which I do love face Punk because it's had its good moments. But man, could you imagine if like the week after he wins his belt, like he just goes full on Punk heel? Yeah. That'd be great. But I'm looking forward to that. So that's cool that they finally announced that. So we have that to look forward to in a month. Mikey agrees. Yep, long heel run from CM Punk. I think we're all aboard on that for sure. I accidentally took down the banner. There we go. Next thing on Dynamite, Wardlow versus Lance Archer. I thought it was a very good match. It wasn't that long, but I'm kind of disappointed in the way that Lance Archer has been used in AEW because this is a dude from the beginning that's been with the company. And I think we all kind of saw signs of him being a major player, but he just feels like another guy on the roster to me.
Did he get injured and he was off for a while?
He might have gotten injured, yeah, but it wasn't. He didn't miss a lot of time. I feel like
he had that like 3 match with Eddie because I think I like snapped you that night and I was like, every time I wear my Eddie shirt, he loses and like I don't want to wear it. But that was during like that feud, and then I feel like he went on like a little bit, but then he was like MIA. Yeah, and then now he's back and like I don't know. You put him in that match with Wardlow, like it could have been great. I loved Wardlow's match last week with Butcher, like that was awesome and like. Big.
Did you see any of this one with Archer?
Big meaty men. I did, and I got nervous because I'm a mark. I got nervous when like Wardlow's security or like whoever. I thought like one of the guys took like a gnarly bump on the stairs when Wardlow flipped out. Bogus. I agree.
He did get hurt there. Mikey's clarifying that he did get injured wrestling your number one. Eddie takes it.
How's this thing working? Pretty good.
And yeah, I agree with Vogus. It's one of those guys I would love to see make the jump over the WWE. I mean, Lance Archer, he looks like, I mean, I'm not comparing him by any means to this man, but he looks like the Undertaker when he goes out there, like walking the ropes, effortlessly doing flips at that size. There's no other man besides the Undertaker that was able to do that thing with that size.
And Vogus just said AEW can't book big guys well, and I agree. And you have, off the top of my head, 4. You have Lance Archer, you got Wardlow, you got Butcher, you got Keith Lee.
Brian Cage. He's a big guy.
Yeah, but like, where has he been since he came back?
Nowhere.
And right. So I mean,
and he re-signed too, didn't he? Didn't he just re-sign?
That was like foolish after like your wife had to like,
what are you doing?
Come and talk shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep saying that. I don't know.
She doesn't know, guys, but she does know that the Wardlow stuff is good shit.
Like I love it.
Every week we're getting like MJF and Spears in a press box throwing popcorn on people while Wardlow just continues to beat up these opponents that MJF has for him. But after the match, MJF teased that he's called in an opponent, another big guy next week. And he finished off the segment with, "You can't teach that."
Oh, right. Big cast. And you know what I love too is I love that every time MJF gets into these feuds, like the Jericho one, now this with Wardlow, that he puts them through these phases or whatever the hell he calls them.
He makes them go through other people to get to him.
I love that. And everyone just allows it to happen. Like I love it.
It's a good point. When is somebody going to say, "No, I just want to fucking face you"?
No, just put me in the ring with this twerp. Yeah.
It's a great point. Only MJF's doing that stuff,
it's
people.
True. You know what?
There's MJF,
you're still not my number one, but maybe you deserve a spot in my top 5.
MJF was in my top 5. You got to respect that man for sure. But I did like the Wardlow place.
Bogus, you should come to New England because I've seen Enzo like 3 times in the last 7 months.
We might have talked about this too multiple times on this show, but man, there was not a more over group, team, whatever you want to call them, than Enzo and Cass in 2017. Like the crowd engagement, the crowd reactions when you were like the crowd went ape shit.
I'm trying to remember. I saw Enzo twice in a singles match. Say like within the last like 9 months or something.
So
he came out to That's Amore, and I just love it because I'm an Italian broad. But then I'm trying to remember. He faced the Hardy Boys a couple weeks ago, probably where I got COVID, and I'm trying to remember if he was with Cass or not. But they came out to that, and they did it was with Cass. They did the entire thing. The city of we're in Waterbury. Yeah, the city of Waterbury just ate it up. Like, even if he's by himself, like, exactly. I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but there was not
No, you're
anybody
not.
more over. And at this point, like, as far as like crowd engagement and interaction, like it's never gonna go stale. Like we just eat that up like easily.
Like that was New Age Outlaw territory, right?
Yeah,
That's how over it was, and that answers our question from earlier. The last time we were that excited in the tag team, it was probably when they were around. It probably was when they were around, because when they got that call up, man, they were red hot, and they never even won titles in NXT or the main roster, which that's another group I'd love to see make their way back. Like we got past all that bullshit with Enzo. He was never accused of that. So he's innocent.
And it seems like Cass has, I mean, I didn't realize that there was a whole thing with everything and whatever he was going through personally. I didn't know about all of that. But like, and I even actually saw, I think is he in like Impact now? Was he there the other night? I don't remember.
He was there like, when you were there. Him and Jordan Grace took on Chelsea and Matt, I think.
The Bud Lights were flowing like water. I came back double this.
Between you and your Bud Light and tucking his Pink Whitney, you got to keep your eyes on you two at wrestling events.
I had the pen between my tits. I hope Donna's not watching, but
no, she's not. That's fine. I'm sure my mom wouldn't care. She says some very vulgar things off the air that I will not say. I guess I get it from her. So did you watch the JAS and Kingston segment with your boy?
So I think that's like where I started to like call my mom, but then I did catch up on that today. And then I'm like dying at Daniel Garcia's Twitter, when he was like, his eyebrows are nice for what? And like, I don't know. I wasn't like 100% into it, but then like, I also wasn't, what's his name in real, or Angelo Parker.
Yeah.
I like that he was the mouthpiece because I was worried that he would be the one to get lost in this group because his name Big Daddy Magic. Like the charisma of 1,000 men. So I was just, I don't know. I just like.
You want a taste? That's what he always says. You want a taste?
I thank you, Glenn, for my 2.0 shirt trying to rib me, but in reality, I love it.
I got to give credit to Vogus. He's been watching 2.0 since NXT when they were Everrise. He would always tell me that Everrise rules and that he watched their weekly show.
I love them, and I felt like I was the only one. And then when they had
you and Vogus
that they did.
Yeah, and now they're a part of the Jericho Appreciation Society, which I wanted to talk about just because it's not registering with me, Erica. I just don't. There's one person benefiting from the Jericho Appreciation Society. Who do you think it is?
Daniel Garcia.
And why do you think that is the case?
Why?
Well, I was just seeing if you had a reason, because he's getting to show a different side of him. Like the Daniel Garcia we knew beforehand was just good technical wrestler. That was it. But now he's got a little bit of personality. He's becoming more of a sports entertainer, which is the gimmick, I know, but it's making me more interested in his work. But if you look at everybody else, I don't give a shit what Jericho's doing. Jake Hager's just there. And the other guys got weird names. Like, what is this doing for anybody else? You
know what? I kind of like it because it's like Jericho's way of like, yes, it's like about me. This is my appreciation society, but it's kind of like giving the rest of them a chance. Maybe minus Jake Hager because, like you said, he's just there. Yeah. It's kind of giving like the rest of them a chance to like have the spotlight and like build themselves up. So I mean, I like it. And it was a slow burn at first because I was like, I'm not into this at all. But then like seeing signs last night where they were like, I appreciate you, Jericho. It's like, yeah, maybe some of the shit he tries to make stick doesn't work, but I think this has grown some legs.
Yeah, I don't think I should doubt Chris Jericho because, like you said, he kind of can, make everything get over because he's just so talented. But Ryan Matthews says AEW lost my attention after Mania. WWE has a firm grip on me as of right now. AEW burnt out on me very quick. So that I kind of want to play off that comment a little bit because in a way I agree. And obviously I'm a fan of both companies and we've talked about it in the past that AEW is probably the better product for the last 2 years, but maybe it is just that Mania hype. But I'm way more invested in the WWE stories right now and what they're giving than AEW. That might be a hot take.
I think that I had this conversation yesterday with my buddy, Bobby. I think there's an ask for every seat. And I think that if you're into wrestling, AEW is probably your cup of tea. And if you like the sports entertainment, you like the storylines, you like the
weird shit.
Yeah, then like WWE. That's why I just never shit on anybody for liking either one.
I agree.
There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think, and I also agree that there's like, it comes in like ebbs and flows where sometimes like WWE's, got it going on that week. And then there's other times where like AEW blows them out of the water. I also just showed my age saying got it going on. But yeah, your turn.
Yeah, you did just show your age there a little bit. That's okay, though. That's okay. No, but like you were saying, the ebbs and flows with both companies. Like I'm sure Double or Nothing could be an absolute fantastic pay-per-view, and then we're going to be sitting here like, oh my God, AEW is running the summer again. Like it's the summer of AEW. Yeah, it's just how it's going to be, and both companies are great in their own right, kind of like you were saying. Mikey Wilson's all in on the Jericho Appreciation Society. It does seem like something he would be into. Bogus said, I said that when they formed, this whole group was made to make Garcia a star like he did Sammy. Yeah, and if that seems to be the direction.
I just was never like, maybe it was like WWE, but I think like the way that certain AEW wrestlers, namely Daniel Garcia, use their social media platforms, like to me, like it's only made me appreciate Daniel Garcia and the whole angle with like the Jericho Appreciation Society even more so, like him talking that shit on Kingston. Or did you see Eddie the other night when I died? Yes, because he is my boyfriend. But
allegedly.
when Punk was like, and like this is not to take anything away from any of the other men that I've wrestled except maybe Eddie Kingston. And then like when he was talking about being excited to face like Hangman, and then like Eddie like tweeted and he was like this, we don't give a fuck, Punk. Like, I just love that feud's not over. And it's just like little things like that. Like I love, and I just think that like Daniel Garcia is kind of like playing all of his cards right. And Bogus is probably right that this was built to sort of like build him up. But I think he's like fully leaning into it and making the most of it. And I like it. Yeah,
very, very true. Ryan Matthews, once again, saying the storyline is just that much better as of right now. And I think he's referring to WWE. But when MJF and CM Punk had their time, that was must-see TV, which I would agree with. Just waiting on that Punk heel turn, which we did talk about a little earlier. It seems to be the unanimous decision from our listeners, at least, that they want to see Punk turn heel. And I agree. And I think, Erica, you would agree as well.
And I know Cody was resistant to it. I don't think Punk is. No. I think Punk will embrace it. Full throttle. Yeah.
That's true CM Punk. And once we get that in AEW, that is going to be must-see TV. And I can't wait for that. But until then, we got a few more things to talk about. I want to wrap things up here shortly because I got to get over to a friend's house for the draft. But the Philly Street fight was – I don't have many friends, don't worry. The Philly Street fight was very good, I thought, between Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida. I've enjoyed their best of 5 series that they've had. And honestly, I would probably say that this has been my second favorite women's feud in AEW behind Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. I know it hasn't been like immediate matches that they're having. They've kind of spaced them out over the months. But Serena Deeb and Shida, every time they got into the ring, for some reason, I had my full attention and I was very invested.
You're not alone. Even when they had the thing when it was Shida's 300th win or whatever it was, that whole thing.
50th win.
50th win.
Put a lot of wins on her there.
She could do it. Even then, like I think I was saying recently, like it never got old because those are just two people that are going to put on great matches together. So it was just like, let them go at it however many times. So I figured, and then touching on the Becky Lynch tweet before, somebody had commented under that saying that like, that she was right in saying what she said, but that the Shida Deeb match needed to deliver. And there was no doubt that they would.
Oh, it did too. I think there was actually a story there the entire time. I wish we could still see more of it, but it seems like it's done since Serena Deeb got the victory over Shida. I just wanted to give them a little shine on this episode because I thought it was worth mentioning. Erica brought up Cody, Ryan Matthews says. Anyone else think his WWE character is stale? No.
I get it. I get what you're saying, Ryan Matthews. I 100% do. I wanted him to come back sooner. I was the one that said if anybody could dethrone Roman,
he's talking about the character, though.
I understand, but it all has to do with the timing. I feel like if he came back when he was originally rumored to come back, I was like, I had a hard on for him, and I was like, he could be the one to dethrone dethrone Roman, like this and that. Then like they waited so long, and it's like nothing against Seth Rollins, nothing against Seth Rollins. Nothing. There's vodka in here. Nothing against Seth Rollins. Like, it's just
There's vodka in here. Spoiler alert.
it's just like I get what you're saying. I really do. And I have nothing but like the best intentions and like high hopes for him, but I'm with you. And I'm just hopeful that like, the next thing will
on the opposite side of the spectrum more. I think it's quite the opposite of stale. And I think the crowd reactions in WWE, the positivity that he's getting right now from the fans. This is kind of like when Punk came back to AEW. It's that feel-good story, that, you know, the honeymoon phase, I guess you could say, and I'm going to enjoy it. I don't think it's stale. I think he's reestablishing himself in the company that he once was in. And once he gets his footing, then maybe he can venture off and have these different avenues with his character. But right now, the character is very, you know, dead set on, I'm trying to win a title for my father's world title that he never won. And that's basically it. But in the meantime, he's going to have these matches and good feuds like with the Seth Rollins at Backlash. Yeah. Royal Rumble return was probably the most ideal. The Mania return just felt cheap.
And you know what, too, Ryan, is that we all knew about it. And that it got to the point where like
There's
it dragged
no way
on.
We weren't going to avoid that, though.
No, but it went to the point that it got dragged out. And then it was like this. And we even said, if not now, if not Mania, then when? And then it was like, okay, then Mania. It was just like, here you go.
That's 100% the same way. He's returning to Punk returned to something. He returned to professional wrestling. Cody returned to the company that he started professional wrestling in.
I think that
very
the
comparable.
I think the crowd responses are very different, and I think that plays like a big factor. And the WWE crowds are hot when he first comes out, but as the match goes on, they're just like,
yeah.
So
very true.
Whereas like AEW crowds are like all in on it.
And also, like Voga said, you have to remember that half the WWE audience doesn't watch AEW. So this is them reintroducing Cody Rhodes with what he was in AEW, because we're basically getting that same Cody here in the WWE.
I'm giving it time. I want nothing but I want a huge pop for him every time. I don't want him to ever regret coming back.
Yeah, I don't think he will. I think they have plans for him. But I appreciate the question in the middle of the episode. It helps fill some time here, even though we're going over the time that I wanted to be at.
Oh,
I'm going over time here, guys. We're going over on 92.
You're calling that macaroni with that move.
Right there. Yeah, I had to revisit that Twitter account the other day. I missed her.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I missed her.
Strange you run
I just
that
wanted
account.
to see her tweets. I didn't do anything. I just wanted to see them. That's all. Last thing we could talk about here, Eric, and then we'll wrap things up, is that Scorpio Sky became the 2-time TNT champion in that main event ladder match. And in a weird way, I sort of feel for Sammy Guevara. And hear me out. I know you got some stuff to say too, but the Sammy was super over as a babyface for the last couple months before the Ty Conti stuff kind of came to the public eye. And maybe he felt the need, or Tony Khan felt the need, that they needed to bring the real life relationship onto the television screen, and they were just going to lean into it fully and that it would be something. I don't think they should have done that. I think they probably could have just kept the whole relationship off of TV, let Sammy be the babyface that he is, because now he's arguably one of those heels that you just don't want to see on TV. Like, it's at the point where he's not getting booed because he's just the bad guy. He's getting booed because nobody wants to see him right now on their TV screens. Am I wrong?
I did not watch this match.
Well, that's fine, but you know the heat that they're getting right now.
No, I'm saying I turned it off for that reason, because I am that petty. Yes,
Okay.
I said I don't like, when I knew that was coming up next, I changed the channel. I said I don't want to see a stupid card gimmick. I don't want to see them making out at the top of the ramp. Like, I don't give a shit. And it's gotten to that point where it's just like, believe me, I have no reason to hate on two people that like bang all the time. Don't worry about me. But I'm saying, like, it's like you said, it's just not like translating maybe the way that they thought that it would. And I keep thinking about it because I'm like, could Tony ever be like, all right, you guys got to tone it down? No, you don't want to like offend them. They're like too,
Well, now you have to lean into it fully. You can't half-ass it.
I know, but then like, what do you do? So you didn't want to make him a heel champion. And like my friend Mike said, he likes that the TNT title kind of is getting like hot potatoed around. And I also agree, because like we said before we started the show, is I like that it hasn't been on one person so long that it's predictable about who's to win. if somebody goes up against Jade tomorrow, I'm like, Jade's got this. Like, there's no question about it. But I like that the TNT title always has you like, it could go either way. So I like that. It's interesting. It's probably what the 24/7 championship wanted to be. And I also like for Scorpio Sky that he was able to get the second run, because the first one just sort of like fell flat. The Sammy reigns were weird because there's been 3 of them now,
and most of them involved Cody too, and now Cody's not even in the company.
And it's like, for what? So then it's like, okay, so then where does he go? Do they continue that? Does he move on? Like, I'm not really sure what's next for him, but I also just think in defense, I think the whole situation with them was like super messy. It doesn't matter whether Pam is supportive, which she seems to be.
Brooklyn Joker, I like that match. Toni Storm versus Jade Cargill for the TBS championship would be a very good one. And I think Toni Storm is credible enough to give Jade her first loss. But Erica, going back to you and what Mike was saying about you like the TNT title flipping hands, I would actually agree with you, because the TNT title is a glorified TV championship. Like, that's a title that should be defended at the minimum every other week. Like, that needs to be on your card. It needs to be your fighting champion. So if you're going into every single show with the possibility of a title change, that excites wrestling fans. Yeah. We get off title changes and heel turns and good promos. Like, that's going to pop you no matter who wins it. And it's going to give you a good reaction if it's a face. And if you get a heel that wins it, people are going to hate it and talk about it. Title changes are good for pro wrestling. And I think having this TNT title be that for them, it's money.
Especially when you have someone like Miro that had that lengthy run with it. And we were all like stoked about that. Like, you know, people I know, I see people saying like they missed that and that hasn't meant anything since he held it. But I also appreciate that angle of it, that like you can have someone hold on to it for months on end and us all still be super supportive of it. But then at the same time, be super supportive when it bounces back and forth from Sammy to Cody to Sammy to Scorpio. Like there's different like aspects of it. And I just think it's working how they're doing it.
Yeah, Cody's Open Challenge for it was fantastic. It kind of reminded me of when John Cena was doing the U.S. Open Challenges.
Yeah, like make it mean something.
Yeah, make the title. Yeah, title matches. Yeah,
you're not going to win every time. And I see what Ryan Matthews said, and I'm with him.
We want change, not 600+ day title reigns. Cough, cough, Roman. Cough, cough.
Now, I don't know who would take it from Roman, but I get it.
I was going to say maybe you should have your company build up somebody that could beat Roman, because there's nobody on that roster right now other than maybe a Cody Rhodes or Seth Rollins that I would think is credible enough to do that.
And that's unfortunately.
Brody Lee will forever be the best TNT champion. Hard to disagree with the Brooklyn Joker there. Unless you're CM Punk, then it's okay. Okay, so it's okay.
Keep going.
I'm actually in agreement with Vogus. Ryan Matthews is coming out with some terrible takes today. He's not winning the MBM.
I was with him on that I get
well,
it.
yeah, you're anti-Roman Reigns.
I'm the Paula Abdul. I'm not anti-Roman Reigns. He's just not.
You are. You don't acknowledge him. You won't sit here right now. No. You won't sit here right now and acknowledge Roman Reigns. Acknowledge him.
Why should I? I said I eat at his table, and you said nobody says that. It does not matter.
I, Kyle Gagliardi, acknowledge Roman Reigns.
I'm busy.
Your turn. Jesus Christ, this is embarrassing.
So the NFL draft is on tonight, and that was...
Vogus is not bogus. I am a big Vogus supporter right now. I acknowledge Roman 400 days ago, man. Can you admit that Scorpio looks exactly like Jinder? I don't see it. I do not see that. Maybe I'll have to pull up a picture of him.
I feel like he's probably onto something, Vogus.
You think?
I just trust him.
I mean, Vogus has great takes, but I don't see it. Hold on. We're going to share the screen really quick. We're past the hour mark, so if you're listening at a later date, you obviously won't see this. I'm going to share my screen right now with
throw some hair on that man
of Scorpio Sky. You ready? So do we think that guy looks like Jinder Mahal, people?
Throw some hair. He's got the scowl. He's got the dark features. He's got the beard. Small eyes.
I don't see it. I don't.
Photoshop some. You could put my head on Matt Jackson's body. You could put a long hair on Scorpio Sky.
Did you just give me an idea?
Yes.
Yes. You said Matt Jackson, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you, Mike. Listen,
wait, Ryan.
Oh shit. You're right, Ryan. My bad. I forgot to. Got to get rid of the page stuff. Negative. Yeah, they're not seeing it. They're not seeing it, Bogus. Even your dad's not
Mr.
seeing
Bogus
it.
was watching this whole time. I was swearing and saying bad.
It's okay. Shout out to Mr. Bogus for still watching us live right now. But yeah, I also wanted to comment. I know you didn't see the match. Sammy did a I don't even know what you call it, a flippy shit off of the ladder. I think it's just sometimes a little too much with him. I don't think he needs to be.
It didn't land.
It did not land for one. It's just like, what is the purpose of doing that move in that spot? Logistically, like logically, I should say, not logistically. Logically, how does that make sense?
It's called trying to. Is it called trying to get lightning in a bottle?
Yeah.
He worked for the Cody match, so he's like, I'll do it again here, and it's just not always.
Look who it is. The Clark Streak Wrestling Podcast just joined in. How you doing, fellas? Appreciate the rub on Twitter, as always. We're just chatting about Scorpio Sky right now and Sammy Guevara doing unnecessary spin moves in the ring that are going to get him killed one day. Like, the guy is so young and so talented. I don't need to see crazy stuff. But he's even playing it, I'm crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to prove it every week, you know? We want you to have one
from like 30 feet in the air. Do something lower.
It just wasn't pretty. I mean, the match was solid. I was surprised that Scorpio Sky won, but I'm more interested to see where they go from here, Erica, because obviously Sammy and Ty are heels. And I think Scorpio's kind of a face now, right? Like, those are the vibes I was getting.
And is the whole thing with like Dan Lambert like over? Like, wasn't there supposed to be like a Ty and Paige Van Zant thing?
I think there was. They might have scrapped it. I don't remember.
Weird. Yeah, interesting.
That would be an entertaining tag team, but it would take a lot to get to that point right now, storyline wise. But yeah, those two can definitely go in the ring. But yeah, like you said earlier too, I kind of want to see a little bit more from this Sky reign. Maybe not obviously a 2-month reign, but just give him, some credible opponents to face off against. Ryan Matthews, I basically heard Michael say he wants more hot takes. So here's one from Ryan Matthews. Dolph Ziggler and Finn Balor need to cross over to AEW ASAP. They deserve better.
I mean, Dolph Ziggler has the charisma. And listen, he was my first, but I don't think Finn on the mic really brings it. I can't see him in AEW.
Well,
I could, but I can't see it being like super successful.
They don't need any other big
and also,
names right now.
Didn't Dolph say that like he would never leave WWE?
Dolph's a WWE guy because he could do his comedian stuff he does stand up on the weekends and shit. And he's just been that good hand that WWE's had over the last couple of years. Like, they need a good match. All right, Dolph, go over.
I think he knows he's like, how old is Dolph Ziggler? Like my age.
Yeah,
I think
he's got to be. No, he's got to be older. I think he's close to 40, if not in his 40s.
Easy. He's not in his 40s.
I'm not revealing your age that way. I'm just saying I think Dolph Ziggler is older than you. Finn, I just don't think he would be a.
He's
top
41.
Guy. 41. Told you.
Okay.
I told you, Dolph's older than you think.
Well, I think he's.
If Finn Balor goes to AEW, I want to see the return of the Bullet Club. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. And like Clark Street said, I am with him. The grass is not always greener. For example, look at Andrade, who's basically became a glorified jobber. I'm going to say it.
And that's too bad.
I would say the same thing about Pac, but Pac now that Ray Phoenix is back. Ray Phoenix is back. Death Triangle is my favorite trio in AEW. How can you not like them?
I don't. I do.
I do. I like them a lot. That was a cool segment too. You saw that?
Between them and the Blackpool Combat Club, forget it. Just take all of my money.
He's great in the ring. He fits the bill perfectly because of Brooklyn.
No, I agree, but I think sometimes in AEW you need to have like, I guess they could do backstage.
There's too many cooks in the kitchen right now. I mean, they're just kind of starting to get into Keith Lee with Swerve. Like, that's a thing now.
Fits. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
And here's my thing is like, I used to only watch, for those that don't know, I used to only watch WWE. I never watched AEW. I never wanted to watch AEW because the hardcore AEW fanboys were fucking obnoxious. And I just wanted like AEW to just fail. Then I started to get into it. And then like, I really fell for it. But I find myself rooting mainly for the ex-WWE guys, the Keith Lees, the Kyle O'Reillys, the Swerves. Like, I want those guys to succeed, the Miros. I want all of those guys to just be huge in AEW and have like so much success. So like, I love that especially Keith Lee. I don't know. I have just like a huge soft spot for him.
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy about, I mean, he also was a little bit stagnant his first year in NXT. So I was worried the same thing would happen.
True.
Them pairing him with Swerve, and I think it was Ricky Stark saying that like Keenan and Kel, and they kind of like leaned into that on Twitter. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I like the two of them together, and I forgot how we started talking about this, but.
Love that. Ryan Matthews says he's wearing his OTM hoodie under his jersey tonight. It is draft day, baby. So check out the Pigskin Project live tonight. They are a part of the Overtime Sports Network. If you're listening to this at a later date, make sure you give OTSN a follow, and you can check out the Pigskin Project over there for sure. And also make sure you follow us on all of our socials at Pod on the Mark. We're trying to get to 100 followers on Instagram and TikTok, but we are at the point of the show, Erica Marini, and we had, for starting at 5 p.m. Central, actually had a lot of interaction on this show. This is
a lot of activity. We have a lot of friends.
I didn't really discuss with you in the private chat. I'm going to make an executive decision here, and you might not like it. I know you're panicking right now. Bogus dude's pandering hard to get that award. Hey, I know Ryan Matthews half the time is just playing to the gimmick, I guess you could say, because he does lean into the gimmick that I created, Mr. OTM. But nonetheless, and still MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, Ryan Bogus. And Erica, I mean, it could have gone to Mikey Wilson. It could have gone to Ryan Matthews. The Brooklyn Joker was in the conversation a little bit. Mr. Bogus was here. Yeah. We had a lot of people interacting, and we appreciate it. So
also
keep on interacting if you want to dethrone Ryan Bogus. Right, Erica?
Please dethrone Ryan Bogus. Please.
I think he earned it this week. Bogus had some good comments this week. Got to give him the respect he deserves. Dethrone the king. Bye-bye. Go Cubbies. Go Cardinals, Mr. Bogus. Should have gave it to the Joker. Hey, he did come in with some good comments at the end. We appreciate it. But yeah, Ryan Bogus, still the MVM. And if you're new to this, the MVM is the most valuable mark. The person that interacts the most, has the best comments live every single week. So he retains his MVM. He said Sky looked like Ginger.
Mikey, you get my MVM, okay?
Mikey, you were my other option. I wasn't giving it to Matthews because he pissed me off too much. I love the kid. He's like my little protege now since he's a part of OTSN. But Mikey,
Ryan Matthews, you're my favorite Ryan. So
yeah, I know Erica liked a lot of your comments, Ryan Matthews. So you are appreciated as well. But Ryan Bogus is still the MVM. So Erica, for the final time, hopefully with just me and you doing a regular weekly show for a long time, any final remarks going into the weekend?
No. I'm probably gonna buy myself some OTM merch soon. Meaning like possibly tonight. I'm excited for SmackDown tomorrow. I hope it's great. I'm probably not watching, but I hope it's great. And yeah, I love it.
Since some of our day one listeners are listening this late, and if you are too in audio form, you're getting a bonus here. The promo code is Backlash, people. The promo code is Backlash. Go to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com.
Some matching joggers.
Use code Backlash and you will save 20% off of your order. This will be going on until the end of WrestleMania Backlash next weekend. But since you guys stayed into the hour and 18-minute mark, Erica, I can't believe we went this long.
Right?
We really didn't have much.
You go like this. If we end short tonight, it's cool.
I say that every week.
Work texted me. They're like, "Can I call you?" And I was like, "This, yeah, just like give me a little bit. I'm doing like a podcast. It won't be too long."
Kind of a big deal over here. Hey, not to brag, and we love Tuck. Everybody loves Tuck, but there was a time where we had consistent 6 or 7 people watching us live. Erica, just saying, kind of a big deal. But hey, this is the last week without Tucky. Baseball season ends for him next Wednesday, so we will return to the 3-person booth next week for episode 93. So for Erica Marini and myself, Kyle Gagliardi, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling. Bye.